What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. So today is Monday, that's right, back on the grind. Well, actually, for some of you in the US, you may have the day off, but we do know that Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies never sleep. So having a look at what is going on yesterday, we had a little bit of a crazy day with Bitcoin, right? We kind of spiked up, hit resistance, and then got rejected, and currently, we only actually fell 1.5%, so it wasn't really that bad in hindsight, but I do want to talk about whether or not we should be getting a little bit more bearish, or if everything is perfectly fine, and this is just natural Bitcoin movement. You can see right here, we basically popped up to about 8,473, instantly got rejected, fell down to that $8,169 level, and currently we are trading sideways yet again. So I do want to, of course, talk about the Bitcoin price short term. However, there's a lot of other things that are sort of being tossed around in the space right now. For example, Bloomberg just came out with a report where they basically said that there's a 35% chance of a US recession. So I definitely want to talk about that as well. Also, the fact that a lot of Generation Z and millennials are warming up to cryptocurrencies. And besides that, I think the most important thing is the fact that there are smart individuals, whales, smart money, essentially accumulating Bitcoin en masse right now as we speak at these levels. And I'm going to show that to you later on in the video. So if that sounds good to you, well, you know what to do. Also, if you are not subscribed yet to the Crypto Zombie channel, well, we do this every single day. What are you waiting for? And today is the Ledger Nano S giveaway. That'll be at the end of the video. If you missed out on your opportunity, well, you could drop a comment on this video and that'll make you eligible for next week. So we're going to do that at the end of the video, but let's dive in. Let's have a look. Obviously, let's give it a quick refresh because Bitcoin dominance has actually been pulling back over the past few hours. So the question is, where is it going? Is it going into Tether? Well, Tether once again is still sitting at $1.01. Okay, it's supposed to be $1. Yeah, but you are noticing things like for Ripple, for example, XRP is actually up 4.12%. It's a little bit of a mixed day in the altcoins today. It's not like all the money's going into the altcoins. You are seeing some of them do quite well. 0x, Educare, Stratus, Ren is still doing quite well. Matic Network, yet again, Nash. These are all projects we've talked about on the channel. Theta, Hedge Trade. So that is the situation, but the volume is still very low. So even though we had that crazy move sort of yesterday, we really didn't see a lot of volume. And this is telling me that we have not had the big move that we're looking for because it has not been accompanied with the volume. Once the volume comes in, we'll have a little bit more of a confirmation. You can see yesterday was a relatively neutral day, leaning slightly more to the sell side. However, we still do have the shorts above me looking at about 53.51%. So currently it does still seem like there's a bit of some negative sentiment out there, right? So basically yesterday, and I'm just going to point this out, there were some people freaking out yesterday about this dump we were having. Guys, look, we essentially just wicked out of this basically upwards trend we were putting in. You know, we came down to that $8,151 level and we wicked right back up, and we're literally exactly where we should be. We're following the bottom of the, wedge. But I do want to point out right here that at basically October 16th, which is only in 2 days from now, we are going to get to this sort of apex where we have this resistance meeting with this support, and I would expect Bitcoin to undoubtedly do something at that point, right? Now, if it does fall to the downside, you are looking to get supported by this downwards trend. However, if we are looking at the fractal to what played out the last time, Bitcoin did not fall down after it had that up, okay? Basically, it came down. You can see actually right here, it did have a bit of a wick where it did fall a little bit of a percentage, but it essentially maintained the upwards trend. But I do want to just mention real quick, it is fun, right, to look at fractals. It's fun to look at, things that Bitcoin did in the past, right? But does it always play out exactly the same? It honestly doesn't, because usually what happens is once everyone starts looking at it, well then, they don't follow it because the whales don't want to do what they know you're thinking is going to happen, right? They want to play games. They want to take your money, right? So they're going to make the market do strange things. I mean, you can see right here, Josh Rager even pointed out aren't exactly the same, but quite similar price action after the previous capitulation before the market bottom. So see, here's another fractal right here. So essentially, are we looking for that sideways? kind of accumulation? It could be. We might be going sideways for quite some time. But what I wanted to point out, because I wanted to be realistic on this channel, I know a lot of people sometimes accuse me of being just like a Bitcoin bull no matter what. I'm not gonna lie, I am very bullish on Bitcoin medium and long term, but I do want to be realistic. And essentially you could also interpret what we're doing right now as a textbook bear flag. And I'll show you right here, essentially a bear flag, you fall down, you start putting in a little bit of an upwards trend, and then it usually goes down. It breaks to the downside, right? It does say that bear flags can be stronger when the swing lows that begin the pattern is also an all-time low due to the possible lack of underlying support. Now, I just want to point out that this isn't an all-time low, not even close to it, okay? It is a yearly low. We did put in that 44% drop. So I do want to be realistic that there is a potential chance of a breakdown to the downside, okay? But I'm going to get to that in just a second, but the reason that I am expecting a big move regardless, and then we'll go into whether or not we think it's going to go up or down, is because look at these Bollinger Bands. I mean, the last time that they literally got flat like this and this tight, we did have this move downward. So that's why yesterday's move was not the big move. In fact, yesterday's move wasn't really even anything in hindsight, but you can see right here, we are currently still sitting above the basis, okay, which is the center line of the Bollinger Bands, and volume. I mean, look at how low that volume is. That's the lowest volume. I don't even know the last time we saw volume this low. Let me see. I can't even find a time on here. That volume was this low. It looks like it was around March. Wow. Oh my goodness, guys. I just did this live. So let me take this off of log and auto. You can actually see the last time that volume was this low. Let me actually get rid of everything right here. Essentially was right before we had the massive boom. Wow, that's crazy. So yeah, I mean, we're looking for a big move, guys, but I'm not going to keep saying we're looking for a big move because you already know we are. It's just a matter of when. But having a look here, what happens if we break to the upside? Well, I told you guys, we have to get above the 200 daily moving average, which as of today is sitting around $8,719. The next level to get above is that 8.8K. And like I've been saying, after that, there's not much trading on the VPVR. The next level really is 9.4K. Now, on the bearish side, if we do fall lower, well, we have a little bit of support around $7,600. But don't forget, there is also a CME's futures gap on the 4-hour, which is not necessarily important. But in order to close that, Bitcoin would have to go down to $7,173. So those are basically the ranges that we're looking at, right? Okay, just want to be realistic. But like I said, guys, if we break above this 200 daily and close above 8.8K, especially if the daily and 8.8K line up and we break them both at the same time, which actually looks like it might actually end up happening kind of around October 16th. So that's only 2 days from now. So we could definitely be looking for that to be the big move. Now, the one thing I did want to kind of point out is currently we are putting in now a red star doji. Okay, last time I was talking about this green star that we put here in September, and we basically had that massive pump to the top. Well, currently this is red. I really don't want to see 4 red months for Bitcoin. It's not really, I don't want to say bullish or bearish, but it's not very attractive. Let me just say that moving forward. But I will say that we have been maintaining, between the 100 on the weekly and the 21 exponential. So as long as we stay in this range, yes, we could bounce around, yes, we could fall back down to 7.7K. But ultimately, as long as we stay above this yellow line that we're looking at right here, which is around $7,616, I still don't feel bearish. If we go lower than that, well then, we'll change the whole tune of the channel and we'll start talking about lower levels. But there's no reason to be a full-on Bitcoin bear when we're still in an uptrend. Essentially, we're just consolidating, which is very healthy after a 400% run up, by the way. Also, not to mention, if you look at what basically Plan B is saying, when you look at Bitcoin and you look at this asset, some people say it's going to go to zero, it's going to whatever. Okay, that's your opinion. But a stock to flow 100 asset being worth less than gold, okay, essentially, is like a planet 100 astro units from the sun rotating faster around the sun than Pluto. And yeah, I do know that Pluto is no longer a planet, according to some of the school books. It's just a giant ball of ice. But when I grew up, it was a planet. So you can see right here. But what is he trying to say? What is he essentially saying? Well, Willy Woo actually put this chart out, and this was in reference to the one that came out from Glassnode that we spoke about think it was like 2 or 3 days ago on the channel, and you can see he says right here, the rate of growth of 1,000 Bitcoin addresses now matches the early growth in Bitcoin's network. So essentially what you could see right here is in the beginning, a lot of, people were excited. They were basically accumulating, and then it kind of got a little bit stagnant. And even during the crazy bull run right here, you see, it wasn't really growing. And just recently, it's looking exactly like it was in the beginning. But the question is, who is it this time, right? Who are the people that are having these 1,000 Bitcoin addresses? Now, we do know that exchange wallets, okay, have a lot of Bitcoin, but don't forget, you can look at the Bitcoin rich list and see which ones are the exchanges. So scrolling down here, this is what I really wanted to show you. He says, in my opinion, and stick around for this, guys, we're likely in a new renaissance of Bitcoin. This one is powered by capital influx of high net worth individuals, while the early one was from the tech savvy who were basically bootstrapping the network. He says right here, super bullish, okay? Now we're going to dive in and have a look at this because you can see right here, this article came out, Bitcoin addresses worth 100,000 or more hits all-time high. And essentially, according to BitInfo charts, the rich list, now this was as of September 17th, okay? There are 157,210 addresses holding between 10 and over a million Bitcoin. Now today, it's actually a lot more. In fact, you can come over here to the Bitcoin rich list yourself, and you can see that these up here, these top lists, they are exchanges. It says Binance, Huobi, Bittrex, okay? But look, zooming in right here, addresses richer than 100,000 US dollars, 127,000, over a million, 12,000. So when you really think about it, there's not really that many Bitcoin millionaires. Now, granted, these are just individual wallets. I would assume if you're a Bitcoin millionaire, you're not keeping all of your coins in one wallet. If you have a ledger, don't forget, ledgers actually create multiple addresses, right? So you have to take this data with a grain of salt. But inevitably, you can see that basically what you should take away from this is that they are accumulating and it is growing massively, okay? And here's the other thing too. Let's talk about the fundamentals here because this just came out from Bloomberg literally yesterday, and it says the likelihood of a US recession in the next 12 months rose to 35% in an August survey from 31% forecasted previously, okay? Now you might be saying to yourself, 35% is pretty low. Not really, guys. I mean, 35% is more than a third. So if there was a third of a chance that we'd have a recession, that's a 1 out of 3 chance. Not really very good odds, right? So, how does this affect Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies moving forward? Well, you could see Gabar Gurbax, he is the director over at Van Eck. He says that America should embrace Bitcoin and distributed ledger technology. He says trillions of dollars in potential value might be unlocked in capital markets across various industries. This technological revolution is happening. The question is, who will fully embrace it and benefit? Well, Tim Draper had a little bit of an opinion over here. He actually had a Medium post that came out on the 10th, which was a few days ago, and he basically calls Bitcoin the startup currency and praises its decentralization and borderless nature. He says that Bitcoin can actually have the capability of bringing together the world. He says with Bitcoin and decentralization that comes with Bitcoin, geographic borders have become less relevant. No longer are we at the mercy of dictators and trolls to grow the world economy. In the long term, he says, I believe with regard to business and economics, we are more than ever one world. And I agree, guys. I've said that on my channel. That's why I love Bitcoin. Bitcoin doesn't care who you are. It doesn't care about the color of your skin. It doesn't care about your gender. It doesn't care if you're an alien. It doesn't care if you're a robot. It doesn't care about anything. Bitcoin is non-correlated, asymmetric, right? And he says tribalism is dying. And like the dying roar of a king of the jungle, we are hearing political leaders beat their chests as they try to cling to the power that they once wielded when the world was only tribal. And not to mention, there was another survey that came out, and this was from KPMG. Now, they're a big four professional services firm, okay? I don't know how many people they surveyed. I wish that was here. I guess if I looked at the actual survey itself, which I didn't, I'm just reading it here. But essentially, they're basically saying that more millennials and people from Generation Z are becoming increasingly open to crypto. In fact, the findings revealed that 83% of a group between ages 18 and 24 are the most interested in cryptocurrencies. Millennials not far behind at around 71%. These are, age between 25 and 34. They showed interest as well. And more than half of American consumers from 65 years and above are also interested in the future of digital tokens. Now, obviously, where did they get this data from? I'm sure you can always come up with an argument for why data's flawed, but I think inevitably you are realizing that the newer generation, the younger generation, we are very comfortable with digital. They've grown up with digital. They've had phones and Fortnite V-Bucks and everything is digital. So the concept of having money be digital is not too far-fetched. And the fact that a lot of them are not really trusting their governments very much, or the people that are providing a lot of centralized services like Facebook, basically stealing your data and selling it, it's definitely it's just a different time right now. And I really do think that as, this generation moves into the age where it's time to start investing, which most people say they say that most people start to invest in their 30s. Some people get in a little bit earlier. I do think they're going to look for, lucrative things like, Bitcoin, who, is going sideways right now. But, okay. So anyway, that being said, I do want to say happy birthday to Litecoin. This was yesterday. I forgot to announce it. Litecoin is 8 years old with zero downtime. Over $500 trillion worth of Litecoin have been transacted. Wow. Pretty incredible, guys. So, what else do we have for altcoin news? Well, XRP has been doing quite well. We've been seeing it pump, right? It says XRP has now become more decentralized. Almost 80% of the XRP ledger validators are not related to Ripple. So, that has been a pretty big criticism, right, about them not being decentralized. So I guess this is a bit of a win for the XRP army. So for all you out there that are watching, congratulations. And also, let's talk about this interesting controversy about the CC forum, investment in blockchain, etc. So basically, they have a panel. I don't even know where it is. Oh, look, Tim Draper's here. Yeah, so this guy, Craig Wright, okay? Faketoshi. So essentially, he ended up replacing Roger Ver on a panel. And now you're seeing people boycott it. Charlie Lee says many of us made the pledge to not attend a conference that invites Faketoshi, yet you still plan to share the same stage with him. Shame. And this is in reference to Tone Vays. He says, I made a pledge to boycott Magical Crypto because I find the concept of Bitcoin conference by shitcoiners hypocritical, but I have no problem defending Bitcoin against scammers on the same stage. Me not going only hurts attendees. No one has to attend to watch. Now, one more thing before we actually give our opinion on this. Tom Schultz says, initially I agreed with you, but I think that Charlie Lee is right. By you standing on the same stage and engaging with him legitimizes what he's doing. The best course of action is for the community to not partake in the same BS Craig's in because he'll soon not get invited to speak. So what do you guys think about that? Do you think that Tone Vays made the right decision by going to the conference and, in other words, basically, standing up for Bitcoin and going against it? Or do you think that he should have just said, forget it, I'm just not going? I should just boycott it. What do you guys think? I kind of see his point. Like, he wants to go there so that he can, prove them wrong. But at the same point, going there actually supports it. You know what I'm saying? So that's basically the situation. Also, they were making fun of him because he says, I pledge to boycott, which was obviously just a typo. But you know how some people can get, where is it down here? Where was it? Did they delete the tweet? Basically, somebody was like, well, I don't think we need haircuts. Oh, here it is. It was actually Fluffy Pony. You're pledging to be a kid's barber at Magical Crypto Conference? We don't really have a need for one, but thanks, I guess. So there you go. That's basically the situation with that moving forward. But, it didn't take BitMEX Research long enough to start chiming in on pretty much talking about Craig Wright speaking at Forum Challenge. I'm not going to go through all this, but basically they just go through all the just madness that has ensued over the past with Faketoshi. So you guys can have a look at that if you want. But before we go, I do want to just end on one bit of serious news here, and that is basically in a draft report from G7 nations, the group says that stablecoins must not go ahead until the company proves it's safe and secure. So this also applies to Facebook's Libra. Just to kind of point that out there, the report from the G7 adds that even if stablecoin backers satisfy concerns raised by governments and central banks, it does not guarantee regulatory approval for a stablecoin arrangement. And look at this, JP Morgan's JPM coin, which is backed by US dollars, is also likely to be examined and is absolutely no exception to the rule. So basically, I feel like this just legitimizes Bitcoin a little bit more. So that being said, we got to get on out of here, but not without giving away the Ledger Nano S because it is Monday, guys. So as usual, we have 7 videos a week because there's 7 days in a week. So we will set this 1 to 7. So generate 6. Okay, so that was Saturday's video. So let's go over here. That's Bitcoin winding up for a massive move. The shocking new whale data. Okay. That was the video where we were talking about the whale data, actually. So there we go. All right, let's enter this in here for the Ledger Nano S. Let's see how many comments we have. Wow, 600, exactly 600 comments. What are the odds? So, all right, for the Ledger Nano S, drum roll please. T-Sharp. Great video. Thanks for all of your research and work that you put into this channel. Well, T-Sharp, thank you so much. I really do appreciate when I read comments like this. It does take a lot of time and effort. You know, people see a 20-minute video and they assume that it took 20 minutes to make. I wish. So that being said, T-Sharp, you are the winner today. Thank you so much for the generous words. You know, all you got to do is basically hit me up either in my about section right here, which is my only official email. Remember, guys, I will not ever comment below about anything related to any contest. If you see that, it is a scammer. Please report them. Or you can go to the Telegram. So that being said, thank you so much for everyone that came back to the channel. You guys rock. You're the reason that I do this every single day. If you do have the day off, I hope you're enjoying yourself. And if you're, at work, well, that's what I'm doing. So sounds good, guys. Thank you so much for coming back to the channel. Enjoy the rest of your day if you have the day off. And if not, well, I think the start to the week is,